What's the deal, my people? You know it is a Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. And today we're going to dive into the world of the Gilded Age and speculating what's going to happen in season 3, what's going to be in store for us. If you haven't caught up with the last season of the Gilded Age, let me pop up the spoiler warning for you because there will be spoilers ahead. This season left us with some jaw-dropping moments. Now, before we go on and predict what's going to happen next season, let's quickly recap the major events and cliffhangers that will undoubtedly shape season 3. This season seen the conclusion, the end of the Opera House War, and Bertha came out on top. As her husband said, it didn't even take the Duke for her to win it, but the Duke was the icing on the cake when she convinced him to come be her guest in her main box at the Met. We also seen the first kiss between Marian and Larry after Marian called off her wedding with her cousin. Yes, he was her cousin. And then worked it out with his daughter. We seen her and Larry share a tender moment. I think we all seen this coming and we knew that was gonna happen, but it happened, and I think most of us are happy. Dealing with Aunt Agnes and her sister, we seen her sister's husband pass away, but lo and behold, he was a very rich man. Aunt Agnes's son put her in a bad situation where she basically had no money and was about to move out of her house. But thankfully, Ada was here to the rescue with so much money that they can still live the exact same lifestyle they were living before. But Ada at the end does say things are going to be different around here. And we've seen that a little bit when the butler addressed Ada and called Ada mom instead of her sister. We then seen Peggy make the decision to leave the newspaper due to the fact that she was having lusted desires for her boss and he was having the same in return. She couldn't go on like that, so she decided to leave, and she said she's going to work on that novel. Now, what's going to happen to Peggy, we are going to talk about. We also see Jack inventing the first alarm clock and Larry saying that he wants to go into business with him. Because of this, I'm going to talk about some other inventions that there's a good chance we're going to see in season 3. So let me start my season 3 predictions with Gladys and the Duke. Now, we seen Gladys sit right next to the Duke at the Met, and she wasn't too happy about it, but her mother was. And I think that's the key thing that we have to see here. Now, in order to get the Duke to come to the Met, she had to promise him something more than money. We know that he's not broke, but he needs some money to keep up everything. All he truly has is a title. So what could she offer that was worth more than money? Well, that is the hand of her daughter in marriage. We've seen that her daughter Gladys was looking at some other boy and she'd rather be with that person that's closer to her age, but her mother is forcing her hand to be with the Duke. Now, I don't think the Duke is going to be a nice guy. In fact, I think the Duke might put hands on Miss Gladys when it's all said and done, or might be too much of an alcoholic. I don't think this is Prince Charming that she's marrying. But let's go right from that to Bertha and Bertha's husband, George. Bertha just won the opera war, and she is ecstatic about it. And we're going to see a problem brew between these two in the upcoming season. Now, George told her from the beginning that she didn't need the Duke in order to be a success. And she told him that she was happy that he made the money, but leave the family stuff to her and let her handle that. And so he did. And by her making this deal to marry Gladys to the Duke is going to piss George off, because George went to his daughter and told her specifically he wanted her to find someone that she actually loved, that she actually fell for. And by Bertha making this deal that she did not have to make, she already had this thing in the bag, is gonna drive a wedge in between them you can take that to the bank. Bertha is also going to have to take a fall this season because she's won the first 2 seasons. So we got to see her humbled a little bit. And I think that's going to come in the form of Miss Astor and Miss Turner, who got married, and we seen her husband tell her that she needs to sit down and just take it and act like she's happy. So you see that he knows how to play this game, and he's going to school her exactly how to win this war. And after we see Miss Astor humbled and belittled, and it was also Bertha who fed her the information to kick this lady out, and that's also helped her set up the Met. They're going to team up in order to get back at Bertha. Now, what George wanted for his daughter, he's about to get for his son, because Larry and Marian are going to have a great relationship. But his mother is not going to approve right away. Not only is she not going to approve, we're also going to see Aunt Agnes not approve. So let's bring Aunt Agnes in and Ada. But now that Ada is in control, I think she's going to control Agnes and say, let this girl follow her heart. Let her do what she wants to do, like I was able to do with my husband. Also, Larry going into business with Jack is going to be huge. This alarm clock could be bigger than his father's railroad company when it's all said and done. Everybody is going to want to have an alarm clock in their home. The fact that he invented this, I think there could be a situation where somebody gets too greedy and someone gets effed over. Hopefully it's not Jack, but that's usually what happens when dealing with people with money. We've seen Oscar lose the whole Van Ryan fortune, and I think that he is going to be maybe searching for the money. I think the money is gone. I don't think he's ever going to be able to make that up, but somehow he's going to have to try to redeem himself with his mother. We might see him go back to his affair with Tom and might get deep into that. He's been rejected now twice for 2 ladies that he wanted to get with because of their money, and he might be saying now, you know what, I'm going to live for me. My mother's already mad at me. I'm just going to live the life I want to live and be an openly gay man. And that might be his dilemma of him soul searching, and then his mother and everyone else dealing with that fact. Now that Peggy has left her job and she said that she's going to focus on writing her novel, I think it's clear that they're using Julia C. Collins as Peggy in this story. And Julia C. Collins is credited as the first African-American woman who wrote a novel. I think Peggy will play that role in this show. So now I'm going to get into some of the inventions that I think that we might see in season 3 of The Gilded Age. Number 1, the dissolvable pill. That was invented in 1884, and since we see Peggy's father is a pharmacist, I think there's a good chance they will talk about the dissolvable pill. I think there's also a good chance they'll talk about the skyscraper. The skyscraper was invented in 1884, and since we've seen that Larry was into doing things like that and decorating, I think that there's a good chance that we're going to see or hear about one of the first skyscrapers being built. There's a good chance that we could see a vinyl record and a vinyl record player. That was invented in 1887. So we might see some music or hear about some type of band being played on that. Inventions that also came in that time were the payphone, the flexible flyer sled. We also see Salisbury steaks was invented then. Touch typing was invented then. The ballpoint pen was also invented way back then. It's a good possibility that we'll see not all of them, but some of these inventions in the next season of The Gilded Age. I think I touched on everybody in this show, so that's a wrap on my season 3 predictions for The Gilded Age. What are your theories? What are your expectations? Share them in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on your favorite television shows. Until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.